Guys, hello and welcome to the new episode of Codement. So in this episode, basically we are going to start the brand new series of NgRx. So we will cover everything related to NgRx. So NgRx is nothing but the Redux implementation of state management. So that is in Angular context. So we will cover everything in like each and every topic in all the details. So let's begin today's episode with first thing first is why do we need NgRx? So for that, we have to consider a few of the things, and those are like first thing is when we have multiple components, like when we have this kind of hierarchy that is from the parent to child and then child. So in this case, if we want to share the data between multiple components, then like first thing we can do it using the normal property binding and so as we know like previously, yeah, so the main concern is when we have a long hierarchy of multiple children components, so in that case it becomes very difficult to like transfer your data across like the bottom line of your child components. So the main thing is like when we want to pass the data from parent to child, so like there are multiple ways, like this is the first one, and that is like using the property binding. So if you want to pass the data from parent component to the child, so you can do it using property binding. And if you want to just reverse the same thing, that is from child to parent, so in that case you can do it using event binding. So like you might be already aware of it. So this is possible when there is a relation between parent and child, like all the components are connected, and that is only for single level. Uh, so this is the other diagram on the Angular documentation where like we have multiple children components. And so for passing the data, you can refer to this particular documentation on the Angular platform, like Angular documentation is there. So introduction to components and templates, and there uh, you can refer to it like how we can pass the data from parent to child. So that is very simple and it is possible. So the main challenge comes in when we have multiple children components, and so that is also possible using a service. So there is another way like this can be a different way of passing the data between multiple components, and that is using a service, like common service can be used in that case as well. So this is also possible. But when your components are present in different modules, so in that case it becomes quite difficult, and so the data passing is quite uh, tedious process basically. So in that case also you can use the service, but the data passing would be quite slower in few of the cases, like when you have multiple dependent parameters. So in that case it becomes quite difficult. So again, like sibling components is possible, and also you can use a service, and through the service like you can subscribe to the data. That is also possible. But our main challenge is like when we have multiple children components, and that is also across the different hierarchy. So let's say we have different levels of components, like almost 6 to 7 levels of child components. So in that case, so in the first diagram, as you can see here, so passing the data from parent to first child, first level, and then second level, and then third level. So this is how you have to keep traversing your data. So this is what it becomes difficult when we have this kind of architecture. And again, like if certain child wants to communicate to parent, to the in the top level parent, so in that case also you have to use event emitters, and so you have to traverse your data from like first level, then second level, and then to the top level. Yeah. So these are the problems which were there in any of the any application, like when we have multiple components. So to provide a to provide an like efficient solution on this, so they have come up with this Redux pattern. So Redux pattern is nothing but the NgRx implementation in Angular and Redux implementation in React. So in this uh, scenario, basically we get a common store. Like this is a common store. So as you can see on this diagram, like we get common store, which is common to all the components. And so this is accessible to all the components across different hierarchy. And every child can also communicate to this store without interacting to its upper hierarchy. So that's what it makes this Redux implementation very easy and it's very efficient. So this is what the main reason is. And the problem was when we have multiple components, and so in that case, like we were looking for something which was very common and which is very central to all the components, and it should be accessible at the same time. So this is what the NgRx documentation, if you go on the ngrx.io, so you'll be able to find it. And they have mentioned the main purpose, that is like reactive state for Angular. So reactive is basically the main meaning of reactive is like whenever there is any change in any of the value takes place, so that change is uh, notified to all its components. So it's very similar, like whenever someone posts a new video on YouTube, so you get a notification that this person has posted something. So provided that like if you have already subscribed to that YouTube channel. So it's very simple. So there is a publisher and there is a follower, like there is a subscriber. So it's the same scenario. And through this NGRX, we can achieve this. So basically, NGRX has common store. So as you can see, uh, common store is basically it stores multiple states. So like multiple components can have multiple states. So there are two things, like first is an application state. Application state can have multiple uh, different states. Like let's say state one is something which is a username. State two is something which is like a profile picture of that particular user, and like different data related to the application. Like that's the common data which is required across all the components. So this is what the overview of NGRX looks like, and this is what normal application where like we have different pages or different components. Like this is the weather app, this is the dashboard, the to-do list, users, counter, the movies, and then news app. So this is what a simple application looks like. So let's say I'm on the counter part, and if I want to increment, I'm just changing the value of the counter. So if I want to just get the data of updated counter on the different component, like if I want to display the same value on the movies component or on the dashboard component. So in that case, we can do it using NGRX, and that implementation we will see in the next episode. But I hope like you have got the overall idea, like how and why do we need NGRX here. So NGRX has different block diagram, like different components, like uh, building blocks of the NGRX, and those are like widely like described as like component. Like component is a common one, and after that like actions, reducers, and the store, and then selector. So all the details of these we'll cover up in the next episode, and Yeah. So this is what the main reason is. Like, I hope you have got something, and so this is the main reason why do we need NgRx or ADX implementation. I hope this would be really beneficial for you. So if you like it, so please consider it giving a thumbs up, and please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Code Mint. Thank you.